Alright guys, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to install VirtualBox, and real quick example as to why you would want a VirtualBox, whether you be on Windows, Mac, Solaris, or Linux. And in further episodes I'm going to be showing you how to put it onto a Linux machine because it's free. It's a free operating system, so that way it's the easiest for everybody to obtain and kind of practice with, and it's going to be run off of a Windows machine in my case. You could even do a Linux off of a Linux VirtualBox, but I'm getting ahead of myself on that. I'm going to just show you in this video how to go and install the virtual machine application, and then from there we'll go and we'll make a new VHD. I'll get into that later, and we'll also cover how to start it up. When we start it up, it's not going to work, but I'll again describe to you guys why it's not working, and we'll work through it and we'll get through all that. Anyway, so once you open up a browser, I use Firefox, you can use Chrome, Internet Explorer, yada yada yada. Go to VirtualBox, type that in, and then the first one's going to be virtualbox.org. You go to this site, you'll click Downloads, and then from Downloads, whatever machine you're on, if you're on Windows, which I am, or Mac, Linux, or Solaris, you just click whatever one you have. So again, since I have Windows, we'll save this file, and it will take just a second to load up. I actually already have one installed on here, so we'll go there. Again, once yours is finished installing, it'll show up here. It'll take about a minute, maybe even less, depending on your internet connection. And then you'll double click it, and then you'll hit run, and now you'll get the setup. You hit next. For me, I already have it installed, so I'm going to remove it very quickly, and then I'll reinstall it as well. Otherwise I could repair it, but that wouldn't make sense because I don't think that it would run the same way. And if this takes too long, which it shouldn't, it should take just about a second here, then I will just cut that part of the video out. And alright, we're good. Alright, finish. Of course it doesn't let me redo it. Okay. Let's just go back here. So again, just hit the next button once that prompts. So it's going to originally want you to have a location of C. For me, I'm going to be changing it to my E drive because my C drive is very, very full. Let's see, it wants program files. I think we'll just, for me, let's see, can we make a new folder? Sweet, we can. Again, this will be for people that don't want to put it in their C drive as well. Oracle. And that'll be good enough. We'll hit OK. Then from there you'll be able to decide whether or not you want a desktop shortcut and all the regular stuff. I don't want a desktop shortcut because I kind of like to have mine. Warning network interface. Yes, you'll want to hit yes to that. Install. And again, I choose not to have a desktop icon because I try to keep my desktop as clean as possible. It can get quite messy very fast if I allow all the icons to be put onto there. Anything that this prompts you, as far as when you're installing this, you're going to want to hit install. If you don't install everything that it prompts you, I don't really know what would happen, but chances are once you get a virtual machine running, it won't be very good because you might be missing something and it might not run properly. So again, we'll hit install to that, and I think there'll be two to three more things that prompts for whether or not you want to install or not. Okay, yes, we want to install that. And then there might be one more that pops up. And so what VirtualBox does, and one of the main functions for me, okay, so I think there's 4 prompts. I think that'll be it now. I think. So one of the main functions for VirtualBox, at least in my case, is a lot of Android development, and that's kind of what, let's see, we'll start up this VirtualBox machine. Okay, here we go. I already have one created, but I'm going to run through it again, how to create this. But one of the main reasons as to why VirtualBoxes are so great is because, you know, what happens if, you know, something really bad happens with my main machine, not the VirtualBox, but my main machine that has Windows. Let's say somehow I mess around with the registry files and it can't turn on, or blue screen of death kind of situation, or something to that, along those lines, or really bad viruses or something like that. What's great is if you did all that inside of a VirtualBox, that's okay to some degree. where you can just erase it and everything's fine. It's not a big deal. So that's great in development, because if you are tinkering around with different files and you mess around and you break something, that's okay, because you can just erase it and reinstall it and you'll be fine. So that is one of the main purposes and the great things about a VirtualBox. So we'll continue here and we'll hit new, and we'll just do video example 2. Alright, so there's different ones you can choose: Windows, Linux, Solaris, Mac, and then there's some other ones that I honestly don't know of. You can also choose other, but for our purposes we're going to do Linux. Again, for our purposes, I'm going to be, in later videos, I'm going to choose, we'll install Ubuntu, 64-bit version of it. So memory size is just asking how much RAM you want to dedicate to the virtual machine. I only have 8 gigabytes of RAM on this machine, so that's the max I could choose. Do not choose the maximum on your machine. This is going to be different for everybody, depending how much RAM you have. I'm going to choose 4, which is kind of a lot. You can run multiple VirtualBox virtual machines at the same time, and obviously if you do this, it's going to be allocating however much RAM you have per machine. And in that case, I might want to go down the route of only 2 gigabytes, but for our sake, we're just doing 4. And again, if you guys can't do 4, that's okay, because some machines might only have 4, some might have 6, some might have 8, some might have 16 or even more. So we'll just hit next. We're going to create a virtual hard drive now. Create. It's going to ask what kind of hard drive file type. I'm not going to go through all of these, but what we'll choose VHD or virtual hard disk. We'll hit next. So these two I'll describe. It pretty much tells you right here. Dynamically located will only use space on your physical hard drive as it fills up, whereas a fixed size will just take it immediately as your regular operating system would do on a main machine. So in layman's terms, we could allocate 100 gigabytes on your hard disk with dynamically. So if you have 900 gigabytes on your hard disk and you choose 100 with dynamically allocated, it'll still have to be 900, whereas fixed size will take that 100 immediately, and then it will go down to 800. Plus it takes some time to format and whatnot. So this is a faster route and, in my opinion, a smarter route. So we'll choose just 100 for this example. Create. And now that's all it took. So now we have video example 2 and video example 1. They're pretty much the same thing. The only difference is that one is named 1. Well, one doesn't have a 2 and this one does. So we'll go to settings here. I won't go too far into this, but for those that are pretty antsy and let's say don't have the next video up yet, all you'll need to do for the next step is you click this CD/DVD device, and then you'll do choose disk, and then from here, wherever you have your, whether it be Linux operating machine file or ISO, or your Windows ISO file, or even a Mac ISO file perhaps, you would double click and then you would hit open, and then it would pop up here, and then you would click it, and then you'd hit OK, and then you'd run your machine, and then once you've run that, then it starts installing it as if it's its own operating system. So that's going to cover it for this video. In the next video, again, I will start describing on how to set up a Linux machine, and I will see you in the next video then.